50, the 6th of November. San Fran. I thought
Okay.
you would. I thought you would have known.
No, I haven't been following the news the last couple days.
Nah, no worries. Well, now you know, man. I'm sure it'll be quite a day.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how's everyone?
Good, good.
Good.
Yes.
Very good, thanks. How are you feeling?
Better, man, better. Probably the last day that I'm stuck at home.
Good, good. I'm glad it was short.
Thanks for asking. How's Washington, Puts?
Right, there we go. I have to turn off push to talk because I use a key for that. It's not on my keyboard.
Hello?
It's good actually. It's so,
Oh, there we
good
go.
so far. When I landed, there was supposed to be a small mini hurricane. Didn't really see a lot of that. It was a bit rainy, but it's I think mild for a couple of days now. So it's pretty here. I mean, like I'm in a pretty calm area, kind of an outer area of TC, and nice. I'm going on a museum tour. I think later today or tomorrow. So the
Don't
National
miss the
Spy
air and
Museum.
space.
Yeah, Smithsonian's a good one.
That too.
Nick, do you mind leading this one? I can lead this one as well.
I can lead it in about 10 minutes.
Okay,
Give me a little bit to prepare.
I can kick us off then. All right, welcome everyone. This is the weekly maintainer meeting we hold with everyone who's involved with the project, in one way or another. And, it's just a progress meeting, talk about what we're up to, talk about, any progress that has been made, sometimes leak things a couple weeks out, such as if you were here a month ago, you already know that the hackathon was going to be happening. So yeah, usually we start off with any outstanding announcements. So I'm going to leave the floor open for if anyone has any announcements.
I'll take this one first, I guess. We are looking for partners and sponsors for upcoming events that we're hosting. If you got anybody you're looking to see us partner with or have any connections, please reach out to me and Tyndall. Glad to start facilitating those.
Wonderful. And for those here that were hoping for some kind of hackathon orientation, remember the kickoff is on the 29th, so on Friday. And it will be like a series of speaker talks, followed by like a Q&A panel from the AutoGPT maintainers to like talk about rules or any confusion. Um, and if you have any questions and you're here right now, feel free to throw them in the chat. We can also get those answered ahead of time for you. So yeah, that's the announcement. Kickoff is on the 29th, 9 a.m. PST. Be there or be square, as the saying goes. But yeah.
Yep. And also, in the announcements chat, there is a link for a survey for meetups. If anyone's interested in meeting up and discussing or presenting or just hearing more about what we're doing, what other people in our space are doing with regards to developing agents or other related AI technologies, fill it out because we are looking to organize meetups, all over the place. And depending on interest, we can prioritize certain locations and topics. So I think I see Bentley put a link in the chat. You can find the link to the survey there.
All right, great. For announcements, anyone else? Going once. Going twice. All right, sold to short updates. And the first item on the short updates list is operations. So if anyone has any operations items to mention.
There's an alumni role now. It's like a tiny update, but there were some people on our team who, they had other things to do or other projects to attend to, and so they're not maintainers anymore. But we wanted to kind of, appreciate them with this alumni role. So for anyone who's wondering what that meant.
Yeah, and if you lost your role and you weren't expecting to, just reach out. We'll see what we can do.
All right, great. If there's nothing else, let's move on to research. Research is good. The deadline for ICLR was the 28th. We decided to submit for solar, which is NeurIPS. The deadline for that is October 3rd. It's a more aligned conference with like social, with safety and equity, and so that also requires less wrangling or like time scramble to put together. So we're pretty much done with experiments at this point, just putting together the paper. Um, and David got one of his students from Northeastern, David as well, to help us write the paper. So that's on track. Now not for the 28th, but for the 3rd of October. But there is less and less work as I finish some things up there in the next day or two. So I'll be starting to work on some other things again.
Cool. Good work, I would say. I mean, I'm not sure if everyone here has really noticed, but Selene and the rest of the R&D team have been working their ass off to get this paper out, and to do this nearing the deadline is really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I should have given a brief overview. There's a paper on safety we're writing. There's no current research in safety in the space, so this is kind of the original pioneer paper for agent safety. Kind of making the assumption that if we want agents to be able to do anything that humans can, they will need access that humans have in the future. And so, how do you, in the real world, prevent agents from doing malicious things? So yeah, thank you for the shout out, Prince. I don't think there's anything else on the research side. Let's move on to development. Maybe if Craig, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So on the Forge side of things, really what we're in the process of doing now is documenting and creating as many tutorials as I can for you guys so you can understand exactly how the system works so you can build upon it nice and quickly. To that end, I think you saw on Friday I put out 2 tutorials and I'm working on the next 2. Whilst also trying to keep them up to date with latest developments with the front end and the benchmarking. So you expect to see another few out this week. Outside of that, changes to the Forge are quite minimal. I'm just, as I'm going through tutorials and thinking of anything useful that might be worth including in the Forge, I'm adding it in. Other than that, on the Forge development front, there's not much going on. It's just basically documentation, tutorials as much as possible. That's where we're up to there, Sam.
Amazing. Thank you, Craig. And if someone can link the tutorials in the chat, there's been a wonderful series of tutorials that have been put together to make it really, really easy for you to get started.
Awesome. And I'll take it from here. For the leaderboard, I think we're ready to give a little bit of a preview for that. Just a screenshot. It ain't pretty, you know. Your boy's not a designer. So forgive him for that, just to start off with. But this is kind of what you'll see. Post a little picture in chat of the leaderboard. This is subject to changes, of course. But this is how you'll see how you rank up against other teams and see if you're winning. Again, just to make sure we're all on the same page, this isn't the final ranking. We'll go through this at the end, make sure nobody was cheating and stuff like that. So even if you're the top here, you may not be the top at the end of it because we're only doing some of the judging publicly. Got to make sure you're not overfit. Cool. Anybody else have any other dev updates?
Yeah, for the AutoGPT agent, I think last week, a couple days ago, I pushed a really big change, basically integrating the LLM provider from AutoGPT Core, which is like the re-architectured part of the code base, into like the legacy code base. Because I mean, for those who are not familiar with the backstory of this, a couple of months ago we said, okay, so this project went viral, 1,000,000 contributions, and then the architecture became kind of this organically grown mess. We want to fix that, and we started working on a new core module, which contains all the important components. No like front end logic, nothing like that, but just the core business logic for an agent application for AutoGPT. And so I've now pulled the LLM provider from that module into the rest of the code base. It also means that the application is now asynchronous because that LLM provider works asynchronous. It means that it's now a lot easier to swap out the LLM provider for another one. I mean, like the only one we have right now is for OpenAI, but it is now actually possible to swap out that module for, I don't know, one for Anthropic or something else. I'm currently working on fixing the configuration structure to also allow that kind of thing, to basically make the configuration hierarchical. So you can just say, okay, I want to use these modules. It will then generate a config structure, and you can change the settings on that. instead of having this single level .env file, which is not ideal once you're dealing with more complex configuration. And yeah, I think that's the most exciting stuff right now. I'm also working on kind of molding the prompt thing of like the default agent into a prompt strategy object. So it's an object that takes in a number of parameters depending on the prompt, of course. It generates a prompt that you can throw straight into an LLM provider, and then it also provides the parsing for the prompts. So basically, you have a prompt strategy for generating the prompt and for parsing the result, and in between there's another module for executing the prompt. And combining that logic like that has a couple of advantages. For example, add a small utility class that allows you to write, validate, export JSON schemas, and you can make the user configurable. And because it's all handled by the same prompt strategy, you can change the structure of this JSON schema, and it will the new updated schema will be injected in the prompt, but it will also be updated in the validation step. So it kind of comes full circle and allows it could, in theory, allow the user to tweak the result of a prompt strategy, which can also affect the thought process of the LLM. Because there's research that shows that if you have an output stage, and you can either say, okay, just output a command for me to use. You can also say, first output your reasoning, and then the command you want to use, and that can improve the performance of your LLM. So if you of course you cannot change items that are actually used in the application logic, but other items that are not super fixed in the architecture, you can move around, you can edit the description, and that way you can influence the way the LLM thinks, which could help with performance.
That sounds great. Pretty excited to see that all land and get to use it, especially with the front end we have coming up. I don't think Hunter's here to tell us a little bit about it, right? Maybe I'm crazy. No, I don't think so. But the front end has had a lot of updates this week as well. You can pull the. Sorry, I'm at a coffee shop today. Sneak peek into the life of Nick. Nick likes to go places at work, even though he has a nice setup at home. But but the front end has a lot of updates. We have gotten it to where you can do stuff like have multiple different tasks going, have a little bit better conversation management, and of course connect to any agent that supports the agent protocol. Pretty excited for that. From here, we will take it on to finding my notes to documentation. Do you have any docs updates? I know Craig gave us a little bit about that already. I'm gonna go with Oh, Craig, you're muted. Sorry.
Well, I've had already kind of covered it a little bit before, but I've released some tutorials as Bentley's linked in the chat here, and they are also in the GitHub repo, and you'll be able to see the ones I'm working on in the GitHub repo under 4 tutorials. So you get to see them as I'm writing them, really. And then once the content is finished, I add them to Medium, so it's a nice and easy format for you to read.
Awesome. And then for collaboration, again, yes.
I got a tiny documentation update.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was too late with cutting it. With this new the configuration stuff that I'm trying to do. It also offers the opportunity to start with auto-generating documentation for configuration. So that's something that is hopefully coming. Well, probably sometime after the hackathon, but it's on my to-do list.
Awesome. We should talk about how that'll work with the agent protocol, because that may change how you design that a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. And then on to collaboration, unless anybody else has anything for documentation. No? Awesome. So for collab, yes, I am the point. I had a couple messages asking if I was the right person. Yes, that's me. Hi. Happy to chat. Happy to talk. Yeah, I don't have any ton of other collaboration updates. I don't think that there are some that I can announce yet. Let me check real quick. Y'all may be one of the first people to hear about it. Sorry. Yeah, I can't announce that yet.
There is one thing. So I'll put in the chat. There's a if you're in San Francisco or remote, there will be a remote link that will be sent to you for the agents event that's going to be held at the Cello Center, which is right across from the OpenAI offices in San Francisco. So if you're here, come through. We're going to be talking about problems at the cutting edge of the agent space and potential solutions. So it's going to be like 5-minute lightning talks followed by like maybe a few minute Q&A / discussion. Actually, Wayne is at Cello Center right now. You can see in the background he's on the upper floor. So yeah, do come through if you're interested. And if you have anything interesting you want to talk about, we have maybe one speaker slot left, one or two. So let us know if you are interested. Throw the link in the chat for that.
Awesome. And then Silent, if you can go ahead and check the Discord real quick. I sent you a message in one of our more private channels asking if we can leak something. It's always fun to leak during this, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, let's push this out.
Perfect. So we also are having a meet and greet mixer, whatever you want to call it, and SF coming up soon. I will add a little bit of a flyer. This is our first sneak peek, and I will include a link to where to RSVP. And we should, if you're in SF, you want to come hang out for a little bit. This is our first, I don't know if it's our first time wise, but it's the first announced event for our little meet and greet session we're doing. This is going to be hosted by a lovely team where we're hosting our hackathon. I'm really excited for it. Make sure you RSVP if you intend to come. Spots limited, so we'll be reviewing them to make sure everybody can. Ziggy, I am not going to confirm whether or not. But the team will be there, and we're hoping to have fun. Let's put it that way. Taking it from here, let's head on over to visibility. Anybody you want to publish visibility on? I can go first. First of all, I want to thank our main man researcher here, Salim. He's been doing a great job. He's been sick, but he has been killing it on making sure this research paper goes out and is well handled. Second, I want to thank our man Puts here for working on our original agent and getting that thing, basically steamrolling that operation all on his own. Really appreciate it there. Huge shout out to Scott. I've been seeing those PRs come through for the plugins repo. Appreciate it. Yeah, Bentley, you've been super helpful with the hackathon stuff. Wayne, everything you do is helpful. From benchmarking to critiquing to helping design everything. It's awesome. Craig, you've been killing it with the Forge. Thank y'all all. Y'all really appreciate it.
And thanks to you for filling all the cracks, all the gaps in our operation, leading this meeting now. You know, you're basically also a rock star in anything you do. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, y'all. Awesome. Before we move on, anybody else have any other visibility they want to reach out? Any roles that were promoted this week? All right, I'm going to use this as a time.
Sorry about that. Thanks for the shout outs, Nick. I also want to give a shout out to Ziggy, or Ziggy if he's around. I think he was at some point. Yes, he is. Yeah, Ziggy's one of the guys working on the agent protocol, which is kind of the foundational tech behind the hackathon, and him, Wayne, and Sasha have been collaborating heavily to make sure that happens. So Ziggy has been putting his hours and sweat and tears into it to make sure everything is smooth. So thank you for that, Ziggy.
Absolutely love that guy. Awesome. Taking it from there, I did just want to reiterate something that Putz mentioned earlier, which is the alumnus role was created. If you lost your maintainer role, lost a different role, things changed and you weren't expecting it, do let us know. Our goal wasn't to remove people who are actively trying to contribute, but more just make sure people aren't getting pinged every 4 seconds for stuff they didn't really need. So if you're still contributing, happy to give it back. Awesome. And then moving on to our facilities, we have an update. Puts us now in a different room.
Yes, our headquarters has moved from Delft in the Netherlands to Washington, D.C., where it will be for about a week. It will then transfer onto a train where it will be for about 4 days between Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. And, from then it will be in San Francisco for at least about a week and a half.
Sweet. Yeah, that's all I got for facilities. As we've noticed, my office doesn't stay in a constant location either. So we're getting really hard put here. Got to find a building, I suppose. WeWork maybe. We'll figure it out. Moving on to our discussions, we have a release review. Puts, do you have any notes for the release?
I think we are coming close to the point where we can do a release again. Probably a good idea to combine that with if you want to contribute and didn't know how, then reach out, because this is the time where you can do that again. I should revise my to-do list with regards to what needs to happen before that, because I think getting configuration in order is one of those things. I think state management itself can wait, honestly. So then release, reopen for PRs, and then hopefully not after the hackathon.
We'll also probably be cutting releases for the other parts of the repo if needed, the front end and such. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, can we cut releases for different parts of the repo? Because the tag and repo will be for the entire repo, right?
Yes, we can. It's non-trivial, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
Now is the time where we collect questions from the stage in preparation for after our discussions. So if you have a question for the team, please send it in chat now. While we do that, for our discussions today, my question to start off with is, what is everybody most excited about for the hackathon? I'll go first. Personally, I am most excited to meet some of our community members and see how they can use some of the ideas we have and the frameworks we've built to build amazing things. That's what I'm most excited about. Anybody else?
I'm really excited to see new applications of known concepts. I mean, there's been a lot of research into how to do AI, but a lot of these concepts have had either mediocre proof of concepts and then not been heard of again. And I think having this hackathon is a really good opportunity to see new implementations, but also new ideas of tricks you can do or strategies for prompting or whatever you can do to make your agent work better. Basically scaling up the discovery process.
Me, I want to see if people beat the battleship challenge.
Some any other answers and or questions from the group? If not, I'll start going to answer questions from the stage, or well, I guess off stage from the audience. Ziggy, that's a great question. I think it's a good opportunity to pivot this entire discussion into legal. So there is a legal concept, which is basically you're responsible for things that you cause, whether that is for the autonomous systems or not. If you try to run our agent in continuous mode, you'll get a huge old output about it. Just to be clear, if you cause chaos with your agent, you're responsible for it, legally and morally. Yeah. Any other questions that are maybe a little more fun?
I think we already answered, was it Ziggy's question about getting drunk with the AutoGPT team, right? Yeah.
Oh, for integrating the agent protocol, that'll be pretty easy to do with the Forge. Swifty, do you want to talk about how easy that is?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I had this idea, and it's what I've been doing, of making like a local model that can take your speech input and then use text to speech and speak out. And I just got it working just then. Anyway, back to the actual question. It's really cool. I wasn't speaking, so it just kept saying to me, how can I help you? So the Forge, agent protocol, one of the whole points around the Forge is that it implements the agent protocol for you and it complies with the agent protocol, because it takes quite a lot of work to go and make sure your agent actually complies with this protocol and includes pagination and all the response types and does all the behavior in the way that one would expect. And so what the Forge does is it adds a fast API server which handles all the routes that the agent protocol expects. And then it has an agent class which hooks into these fast APIs. Well, actually, fast API server hooks into the agent and calls these routes. Now, a lot of these routes are totally uninteresting for someone who wants to do AI development. It's things such as getting a list of tasks, getting a list of steps, uploading and storing artifacts. You don't want to have to deal with that. So that's all taken care of for you even. Then there's another agent.py at the root of the Forge module. This is a subclass of that other agent, but it only implements the functions that are actually interesting for you to develop, which essentially boils down to two functions. The first function is execute step, and the other function, well, actually, maybe that's the second. And the first function is also create task. Let me get the exact names of them, so I'm not telling you the wrong ones. So the exact name is create task and execute step. And these are the two functions where you actually start implementing the AI logic. And in the next tutorial I'm going to release, I'm going to show you how to implement something that's complied with the agent protocol that uses an LLM to go and pass the right file test. And it shows you how to go and hook in there. And so I think that answers the question of how we use the Forge, the agent protocol. Is that what you were looking for?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's about it. Any other questions? Going once?
Hey,
Twice.
no, I have no question. I just wanted to say maybe we can look at. So, do you hear me well first? Yes. Let's look at what Craig built. You know, the ability for people to enter the arena, and let's see who entered the arena, right? So far. Do you see my screen? Is it good?
Yep.
Is it working for everyone? No, you see? What a pain, Discord. Like,
Still loading.
can it just work all the time?
Having things that work is hard. You're muted, but we can see your screen, or I can see your screen.
That's it? Oh my god. It's too bad for you, Scott. Okay. So, who entered the arena? What does it mean to enter the arena? It means you're ready to fight for the hackathon. So, AutoGPT entered the arena, apparently. We have to look into that. Agent 1, Bot, North Fork, SQL, Potato, Ask OP. So all of these, you can follow the tutorial that Craig built here. And if you don't see my screen, it's in quickstart.md. In order to enter the arena. Is it here that you talk about entering the arena? Craig? Yeah, it's here. Okay, so just follow that tutorial, be able to enter the arena.
I say I can't see your screen.
Okay. Anyway, enter the arena before the hackathon, so we can see, we can have an idea of who's joining and who's participating. And that's it.
If we have no more questions, Wayne will link that page you were showing in the chat real quick. If we have no more questions, otherwise, I think we can start wrapping it up. Next week, we'll be having the same meeting at the same time, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, Tuesday, wherever you are. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you for coming out, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.